Angelo. Yar! Woo! And you punched the air where it was. Yar! Welcome back to Stay Tuned. I'm Tony Angelo. This is my YouTube channel, and today we are digging back into my project Powerkraut, which is a dirt cheap 911 I bought off eBay as a blown motor roller, and have since crammed into the back of this thing a 400-ish horsepower American all aluminum 5.3 liter V8. Last time we worked on this project, we got the engine running in this chassis. We built this sweet exhaust that sounds pretty incredible. It's a little bit over the top looking, but I love it. And this week's project is to get this thing ripping down the road with that American V8 power. I cannot wait. Let's rock. So last time we got the 5.3 mounted into the chassis with the CPE mounting kit. We got it wired up. And before we fired up this little German fun wagon, we tried to get the cooling system going, but we didn't have the right water neck on here. So when we did fire it up, it had no coolant in it. That's why we didn't run it for too long. So the first thing we're gonna address is getting the cooling system figured out. We're using all of the Porsche stuff basically ahead of about here, which means all of the lines that run forward, all the forward radiators and fans that are already there. But we just have to make pipes to adapt from the Porsche system into both sides of the LS water pump. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna hook up the heater too. So that's step one. After that, we've got the motor to come out, do a few different things. We've got some upgrades planned for it. But step one, we're gonna get this cooling system finally plumbed. Earlier on, we came in and did cut and roll beads on the Porsche pipes because they came out and they went, you know, to the old 3.4 liter flat 6. So those are done. We just now have to start fabricating some coolant pipes that will go from here to there. So let's get rocking there. Figure it out. Please take a second to go over to the Stay Tuned merch store. We have all of the shirts back in stock. The classics, Stay Tuned Lightning Bolt, Angelo's Gym, and We're Gonna Lose the Shop, plus the new Down and Dirty shirt is here, and it is ripping off the shelf, so grab one if you want it. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, so we've got to address, like I said, the main two coolant lines going to and from the LS water pump, which are at the water neck outlet and this upper hose. We just grabbed some aluminum U-bends from Summit. We're going to cut and weld and try to dial it all in. It's going to be basically all aluminum tubing with just using a silicone connector at each end. Nice and fancy. That's how we do it over here. And then we went in and for the heater hoses, and it's really imperative that you run at least a U here to keep flow working properly on the LS motor. We gone out to Earl's and they have this as a super trick piece. These are 1/2 inch NPT stainless to a cast piece that actually has a swivel in it and will accept a 5/8 heater hose. This is a little bit of a sweet, perfect solution to the small amount of room that we have. So we'll thread these in. We're going to try to drill out the smaller hole big enough to accept it as well. And then we can get this in. And even once it's in, it'll move wherever we need it. So that'll be a nice clean solution to get those things adapted to 5/8 heater hose. And then we're actually going to run the heater in this thing because it's, you know, October. Nope, November. It's November in Pennsylvania. It's going to get real cold here real soon. Barb is getting fancy. I was definitely going to drill this by hand. Boop, boop, boop. Stand back.
Pretty fucking good.
Pretty good.
I would say.
Okay.
I think.
I do agree.
Alright.
Alright, we're well, okay. Ready?
Go ahead. Probably plug it in.
Plug it in. That's step one. Yep. All right, barb cut threads in that new hole we just made. They actually look pretty great. You can see there. These are also there. And these should thread right in. This is NPT, it's National Pipe Taper. the kind of stuff that you want to use pipe dope or pipe tape on to make sure that everything seals, because essentially it's a tapered thread and it'll just eventually bottom out and come to like a binding position inside of the joint, and you want to have some kind of pipe sealant on there to seal it all up. But that's going to be a pretty slick little maneuver right there.
Okay, those are sweet.
Right after all that, Barb decided it's best to just JB weld these in there. Extra.
That's the spirit.
Extra fix them.
They're threaded.
They're threaded.
They're threaded.
They're threaded.
Threaded.
I don't know if that is that like a.
No, we just wanted to, you know,
Let them know.
let them know.
It's time to finish up. Well, get started really on these coolant lines. It's got Barb's fittings in here. They're tapped and tightened and JB welded. We've got to connect this side of the water pump over to that main hose, this side over to that one. So we get to do our favorite thing, which is cut, weld, and grind.
Tell me about that water neck though.
I got this little billet water neck because it does a couple things. It's lower profile than a regular one, and it rotates wherever we need it. So the goal is to actually not dip down with the hose at all. We're just going to try to squirrel it in around the side there. I may have to trim out. Did you have this on with the water neck on? It's a tight fit. There it is. All right, let's make a little room in there.
Well, it was nice.
All right, we need a little bit more room for our fancy fittings. We're gonna make that happen.
Oh, nice. That's still good.
All right, ready to rock, let's install this thing. This engine bay is super tight for 3 dudes to be working inside. We know we have to pull the seat out and the automatic pedals and stuff, so Barb's gonna work on that while me and Zimmy make up some coolant lines. And this should actually fit back in here now. Zim, grab the water pump bolts.
Somebody turn that beaver off. I'm going to lose my mind.
Yes. Don't pull the battery out.
Where's this go?
Somewhere in that general
Vicinity.
Hold on. There you go. Whatever, just grab a wrench or something. Look at these little cool guys. Look at those things.
I had to take a day off so we could afford to get those.
That's right, yeah. It's true. Zach's doing pro bono work, so we could afford those 2 fittings. Appreciate him. All right, we're gonna now connect main hose to main hose over there, this guy here.
All right, so one of the coolant hoses over here on the passenger side has to loop around the car and then come into the water pump up here. So we found a couple of pieces of hose that we had laying around. We got some tubing from Summit. We got some pieces from his old drift car, and we're going to make a new hose set up here. So what we're thinking is, because we have to reduce down to the smaller size for the water pump to work with this rubber elbow, we're going to cut a little piece off of this just to make an adapter, weld this up, put another bead on it, and then we're going to loop it back around this way, either with a piece of rubber hose or a piece of solid tubing. We're going to kind of see how it lays out and go from there. But first step is cut this off, weld this on here. We're going to actually extend it a little bit, cut this down a little bit, and kind of just situate things and get it together. So now that this is on here, we know this is going to live here. We want to measure how much tubing we need from there to here, which is really 8 inches would be great. And that'll stick it back way far where we need it. So we're gonna add 8 inches to this guy, some straight, and then that little piece of adapter that's gonna go in here. I'm just trying to get a nice bead on here to interface with that bead like that, so we get a nice fit for our weld. And this is going to go into the piece of hose that I've already cut here. So it really has to have a bead on both ends. We'll use this end for there, and then we'll use this end to weld to the tube. Yeah, so right now I'm going to cut 6 inches out of this straight piece to weld to that angled piece, and that'll give us our full long 90. And then we'll put the little shorter or smaller diameter piece on here that'll act as our reducer. Okay, so here's one joint. I'm just going to tape this together real quick and make sure that everything kind of lines up the way we want it. Make sure all the math, the one maths we did works out. Okay. I think that should do the trick there. Nice and clean. It'll get past that engine mount there, and then we'll do a little jog either with a piece of rubber or 245s on a piece of tubing and weld them in there. But yeah, I think this should be good to go. We can weld this up. And if we need to, if we decide that we want to use hard line on this end, we can just cut off the bead roll and put what we need in. Happy with that.
I just cut a 90-degree bend in half. And it should snake us around here pretty happily and meet up with the tube that Barb's working on. Should be dialed. I might extend this piece a little bit more. Another 1/4 inch if you look. It's a little bit tight to the bar. I could use a little bit more offset. So if you take a 90-degree bend, cut it straight through the radius, and spin it, you'll wind up back to straight with a little kink in it.
There you go.
Got it? Nice. I'm going to come slide this in here. It's still tough to see, but... we're getting close. This kind of just happened to fall together, which is nice. You can do this by getting all these different crazy rubber bends and just using straights that are aluminum. But if you know how to weld and you have a bead roller, you can make one pipe on each side. It looks quite a bit nicer, and it has much less tendency to leak because it's only 2 unions on each side. 2 couplers.
Squeeze them. Good?
I'm good.
Here we go. Big hole. Stay there. When you make a tube that's got to hold water or gas or coolant or anything, it's ideal to pressure test it. We don't have a pressure tester here. You can make your own kind of rig with some rubber cones and air hoses and stuff. But at the very least, fill it with water and look to see if there's any leaks. Some of this material didn't weld so well, so I'm just checking. I got pinhole here, pinhole here, pinhole here, a couple of little guys.
Jeez.
Yep, fired.
What you got there? All right, we got our one side done, looking pretty fantastic. We ran over to the other shop. We unloaded the parts, Polara. That thing is gone. Now we're back here burning the midnight oil, just me and Barb. We're gonna try to get the second one done tonight. Same kind of deal. If you see, there's this big air separator tank that runs in the 911. We're gonna try to sneak this underneath it and do that same kind of Z offset to run into the factory pipe. So that's the idea. Just gonna start cutting, eyeballing, and welding. This is an old radiator hose we'd already made, and we have enough leg on that 90 to get where we need to go. So instead of having two welds right next to each other, I'm gonna chop this off, clean it up, and then we'll have a cleaner pipe. Yeah, close enough. All right, same scenario, pull it out. Yeah, that'll work.
I think so.
Cutsy, cutsy, weldy, weldy. All right. Woo! Make it a Z, baby. U, Z.
Okay. It's good to me. I'll sand off the marks. You know, you're gonna need those.
Mm-hmm. That help?
Hmm?
What? Good?
Yeah. Did you do something?
No,
Look at that.
you're good.
All right. Clean it up. Weld this thing.
Gorgeous.
I'm telling you, it was that pipe. That was nasty. I don't know what was going on, but
Whatever you smoked out of that pipe worked for sure. You're doing it. You're doing good now.
look at that. I'll weld it up. Slap this puppy in there, see how it fits.
Yeah, I don't usually slap puppies, but let's do it. All right, how we doing?
That's gonna be a problem.
This is like origami over here.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me have a look. All right, loosen the bolt here for the water, the air separator tank, and was able to sneak this pipe that we made in. It looks good. Length is right. That's good. It's just long enough, but it's pretty perfect. Actually, I can shove it forward a little bit. Get that low as possible to have the max clearance here. And there she is. Fits like a glove. Can you get the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Beauty. Get the whole top to bottom.
Here we go. Yeah, that looks great. Beautiful.
Nice. All right, rock and roll. Let's go to sleep.
Okay.
Back tomorrow for more fun.
Close the door on this one.
Like actually?
Mm-hmm.
Here.
Night, night.
Sweet. Okay. We finished up those coolant lines last night. We're gonna now yank off our sweet and very ridiculous exhaust setup for this car, pull the engine out, do the last few things we have to do in the engine bay, and get ready to install that engine transmission for good. Let's rock. If you missed it last time, we built this little ball of snakes exhaust system. It's 2 block hugger headers into a sideways X pipe that then come out in this megaphone style old school N1 tribute exhaust system. You got it. And we don't want to wreck it, so it's coming out. All right, we recently installed our Chavis Performance billet subframe brace. You absolutely need this or the stock piece, which needs to be super mangled up to fit with the V8, just to keep the whole subframe intact. It's really a huge integral part of the whole chassis. So we have this in there. We're taking it out now so we can remove the motor. Thanks, buddy. Start going, Barb.
Ready.
Yeah, boy. Helps if you yell. Did you yell? Yeah!
Straight down.
It's got to go down, bud.
I see. I thought I could do it, you know.
Nope.
You didn't even yell.
Like-
Yar!
Cutouts for-
Woo! Then you punch the air where it was. Yeah! Cool. All right, we yanked the 5.3 out of the Powerkraut. Went very smoothly. We know we need a bunch of different stock parts to finish up our automatic to 6-speed conversion. We need axles, we need pedals, we need a shifter, we need all sorts of stuff. We're gonna run out now to a local place and start grabbing it. We need a bunch of stock Porsche parts like the shifter, the clutch pedal, the brake pedal to finish up our 6-speed conversion so we can get Powerkraut out on the road. So we took a little field trip up north in PA to R&D Exotics. These guys are, as you can see, crazy Porsche dismantlers. They mostly do 986, 996 stuff, so they have got everything we need on the shelf. We're gonna leave here with a big pile of parts and a big smile on my face. And we are back. We are unloading all of our Porsche booty that we picked up. We've got manual axles, vents, plus a headlight switch, gauge cover in black, see if it works, bumper covers, turn signals. Most importantly though, clutch and brake pedals and all of the hydraulic lines that go along with it. So now we can really get rocking on making this thing drive. Zach's gonna start throwing the axles in. Barb's gonna do some engine upgrades, and I'm gonna finish up the conversion harness for the engine bay so that this thing can read, hopefully, the stock gauges will read coolant temp, oil pressure, and maybe make the tach work. Come on over. I had intended to run a Holley low ram in this car, and there's so little room you basically have to run a stock manifold. My buddy Charlie had an LS1 laying around for last episode, just get it fired up. We got it fired up on that thing. It sounded awesome. But I went out and ordered, just on Marketplace, an LS6 manifold. If you're gonna run the 3-bolt throttle body and cathedral heads, this is the one to have. I've seen numbers of as high as 25 horsepower more than the LS1, which apparently is like the worst stock manifold ever. So if you want something that looks similar, fits similar, LS6 is the way to go. I paid $350 for this thing, and it's in perfect shape.
didn't work like I...
Well, tell the people what we're doing.
We're gonna put some axles in this thing that are longer so they actually reach the transmission and actually, you know, connect.
Yes, and here's the deal. We didn't get nuts for our new axles, our new used ones, so we're gonna try not to mangle these.
I don't even need that.
No, you gotta go right to it?
Right to it.
Yeah.
Worked on the
Gonna
other
save
side.
those. Yeah, my only concern is if you really mushroom the tip of that axle, it's not
I'm
gonna
using
fit
a
through the hole.
brass.
Yeah, good job.
In theory, this should mushroom first.
Give her 40 whacks, buddy.
Wax?
It only takes 3.
Yeah, that sounds right. Mirror. Nice job there, Zachariah.
Should we show the people the size difference?
No, I love a good.
I was just trying it like polarized a little.
There you go.
We got size difference.
Yep, significant.
That'll work. Those are heavy. Woo!
All right, so today I'm working on the pedal assembly for our 911 here. We got a complete dash bar from a 997. We thought they were gonna be the same. I started taking stuff apart. It doesn't really match up. Some of the bracketry is different. So we swapped it out with our guys at R&D Exotics for a pedal assembly from a 996. This will bolt directly up into the car. We just have to take this main shaft out, a couple of pieces. Then we have to pull the automatic transmission stuff out of the car, the wider pedal, etc. Swap everything in, and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna get going on this now, and let's rock.
Barb check, barb check.
Got me?
How's it going in there?
It's going. All right, after, what time is it?
It's like 3:30.
After probably 3 hours of being under this dash and having the entire pedal box out
5 times.
5 times, I finally figure out exactly how this is supposed to go in and out of here. You have to put the shaft all the way through, then slide the clutch pedal on. They don't tell you that in the instruction manuals. But we got it on here. You hear that? That's 3 pedals, baby.
I see them too. Nice.
We did it. Now just a couple of bolts and the death spring.
Oh yeah.
You want to see that? I put it all the way over here.
Yeah, keep that thing away from your fingers.
This is the clutch assisting. Oh, look, it bent the thing.
Yeah, it's
Clutch
a grenade,
assist spring. Couldn't get it together, and then I read online if you squeeze these together in a vise and put a nail in there. But I thought if I put a nail in there, I'm not getting it out. There's nothing to grab onto. So Zimmy had the genius idea of putting a little pick in there. But I think we did it. I'm gonna bolt these couple of bolts up and get the clutch master bolted in here. And then I think we can button up those clutch lines, right? You got that last one there?
That is correct.
Sweet. All right, let's do it. Woo! 3 pedals, baby. I'm ready.
I'm gonna do the next portion of this. Barb's got 3 pedals in here. Oh shit. I forgot, that thing's got a crazy spring in it. So I'm gonna put the other piece to the puzzle, the 6-bead shifter in here. This is 6-bead, right? Okay, cool. Big Porsche guy. Look at that. I thought this did like the manual shift thing. Don't need that where we're going. Then I gotta loosen this because the shifter cables go underneath the e-brake. Porsche. Can I still get the wrench in there? Yeah. That. And this guy just kind of flops over to the side. You go right down in through there, I think, if I remember correctly. Quarter. Put that in the lunch fund. Oh. Because there's a giant gaping hole under here. That is in here. We'll just crawl right in. And this goes in there. We'll deal with that later. Fed the shifter cables in from the big hole in the, I guess it's a trans tunnel, kinda. But yeah, got them in here. I'll fix that grommet up later, but for now it's good enough just to get them in here. Okay. This thing should, in theory, 997 shifter, a little OEM Plus upgrade. Just goes right in there. And it uses the same cutout in the console and everything.
Pretty slick.
Yeah, they were thinking of us. This car is gonna be fun. Cool. And these guys, I'm gonna put them under these wires. Seems like a better idea. These guys just snap in here, I think. Like that. And then this guy here gets opened up. I should have done this before. Goes like that. Guy gets snapped in there. Like that. This little guy. And this thing, in theory, oop, there we go. Snaps it in place. Look at that. Look at them dancing. That is pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie.
It's a lot cooler.
It works. There it is. There it is.
Sausages today.
Sausage party. There it is,
We
baby.
got a big sausage
That was
party
good.
with the boys.
I love
today.
a good sausage. Look at that. That's for the boss man. Made
Boss
with
man likes to
extra
eat.
love.
Look at that. There you go, Tony. Eat up, bud. All right, so Zimmy and I have been buttoning up a bunch of stuff over the last day or so to try and get this thing into the car and hopefully driving down the street like any day now. I am putting the clutch slave in right now. The whole engine and trans assembly is ready to go back in the car, and the last little bit we need to put on here before we can get this thing in is the clutch slave. This transmission was in the basement and didn't have any hardware or anything. I've been robbing bolts off of our parts dash over there that we got all the pedals from. So we have some nice factory bolts, but they're the perfect length. Flange bolts, the whole deal. A beautiful thing. We all know the Porsche enthusiasts probably wouldn't approve because they're probably not the right color, but they fit. If it fits, it ships. There it is. You gonna go through the window? Sure is.
Yeah, it's a race car, dog.
All right, we're gonna put this thing in this car. Ready, Zach?
I was born ready.
All right, going in.
Give it to me.
I think we're done. There it is. All right, I'm gonna feed you some wire.
Woo!
You ready?
Yep.
Hold on.
One. Wait.
Got 2 plugs here.
Yep. Give it a little push. Perfect.
Okay, hold on. Stop.
I'm not
Let me
pulling.
come down with the car a little bit. Don't pull.
I'm not pulling anything.
All right.
Whoa.
All right, you see this black and red?
Yeah.
Pull those through. Keep going. Okay, stop. All right, in pretty good shape here. So let's start bringing this down a little bit. Hey, Zach.
Hey. Just hanging out. Race
That's
car stuff.
good. That's good. What's up? Yeah, you're through enough, I think, for the moment.
Yeah, now you can just.
Okay. You want to do the lift?
Yeah.
And I'll shuffle this thing?
The bird.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Stop. Slack towards you. Okay. Give it the old yanker. All right, stop. All right, transmount time. Let's bolt this thing up. That goes there where the little notch is, right?
That's some enthusiasm.
I'm ready, dude. I am stoked about this. All right, so we got this brace in. We had to put the ratchet strap across the 2 sides of the subframe here to bring it in a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of weight in the car now, and each side of the subframe is kind of hanging freely, so we brought it in maybe 1/8 of an inch or so together just to get the bolts through. Tighten it up. Loosen that. We're in business. All right, so I'm gonna just button up a bunch of little stuff under here. There's a couple of suspension braces, chassis braces, I guess, that come from this cross member over to here. There's a cross brace that goes here. Before we put that stuff in, I want to button up these heater hose lines that come from the top of the motor down into the stock lines here, and then I want to tighten the axles up. Mike actually gave me a hand over here. We just buttoned up the clutch lines. There's 2 lines that go front to back underneath the car. We got those connected up. It was a little bit of a struggle because the transmission's relocated forward in the car 2 inches. for a little bit better weight distribution. So the cables were just a little bit more snug to get into the mounts. But the two of us knocked it out, no problem. We got them clipped in. That's all good to go. Trans is bolted in fully. Now it's just a bunch of buttoning stuff up. So we're gonna rock on this for a little bit, and we'll check back in. But so far, so good. I'm happy. Things are rocking. Okay. Axles. Ooh. But there we go. Okay. All right, we've got basically everything buttoned up underneath this thing. A couple of small bolts and stuff, a couple braces. The lift arms are in the way, so we'll tighten those up once the wheels are on it and it's sitting on the ground. But I'm gonna button up a couple more things in the engine bay, and it should be pretty close pretty soon. A little bit of wiring inside the car to do, but we'll button up some engine bay stuff first. We're almost there. So we hooked the steam port up to this vent in the coolant bottle over here, and it looks pretty good. I think we're dialed there. Water pumps in. Oh yeah, that fits good. Look at that. Okay. We really took the time to make these nice and, you know, go slow. And it was worth it, I think, because these fit really nice. Got some good stainless hose clamps. Yeah, like we'll just crank this down. It'll be fine. All right, so we got these coolant hoses all hooked up to the water pump here, which is awesome. We have a couple more things to button up, a couple of small hoses from the heater core here down to the water pump, and just connecting some odds and ends, some wiring, put the throttle body on, and then we got to do some wiring for the Holley to get this thing driving, but we're just about there.
All right, cool. So we are going to a drive-by-wire scenario. That means electronic activity is going to open the throttle. Porsche has this setup, which I love because it's just like an old school throttle pedal, and they just have this little double potentiometer up here that's going to send the signals to the computer, the old Porsche computer, and fire this thing up. Open the throttle whenever your little foot goes down, throttle gets open. And I'm using the Holley harness. Our Terminator X is a max system, so it will do drive-by-wire. And basically, I'm going to convert the GM harness and try to use the Porsche throttle pedal sensor, whatever they're calling it. I know this is not exactly recommended by Holley. We're going to do our own testing, make sure that it works perfectly and safely. You shouldn't do this at home, but we're going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll probably gut a GM pedal and put the guts into here and just move it mechanically, because the one thing I do want to keep is the floor-mounted 911 style gas pedal, because I think they're cool. And like if you're actually doing any kind of heel-toe stuff, having that big long pedal that connects to the floor is really easy to get your foot on. All right, and I got all our sweet wire care stuff here. This is a fancy Deutsch connector crimper that we got from those guys. And it's gonna make this work just fine. Boom. Ready to rock. 12 more of those and we'll be ready to go. Beauty. All right, number 2, watch, we're gonna do them all at once. Oh yeah, big click.
I see that thing.
Right there.
Do it, do it, do it.
Hold on. All right, about. There it is. Sweet. Okay. I'm back in the shop. Today, the reason you've seen Zach and Barb working so hard on this thing all week is that I came down with pneumonia. I'm really just here to help wrap things up really quick. Not feeling great, gonna take better care of myself, but we're stoked to have an episode for you guys. We're trying to get this thing fired up. I've got one last thing they're letting me do, one last cool part. This is a Dorman drive-by-wire throttle body that we're installing. This is a 92 millimeter, is that right? The big boy. With this ICT adapter, we're able to put this unit on there. Dorman is a big sponsor, stay tuned. They've been with us, pretty much supporting us the whole time. Killer, 100-year-old plus auto parts company from Pennsylvania. We love them. They make stuff for just about everything. You wouldn't think it, they've got it. Do they have a 92 millimeter drive-by-wire throttle body? Dorman's got it. And with this, we're gonna make as much power as this little 5.3 can handle, which is sweet. And it bolts right up here. We are eventually gonna try to figure out a scenario that will allow us to have a hood, trunk lid, engine lid, bonnet, engine cover. I don't know, one of these things. All of them, probably. Hats, an engine hat.
It does look pretty tight without it.
Yeah, I do like what we're doing here. With the wiring we just did and the Holley, we should be able to very accurately open and close the throttle with that Porsche pedal if everything works out. Cool. All right, I'm into my Holley EFI software here. I just have a regular laptop. I'm upgrading the ECU firmware so that I can go in there and add, essentially, Holley has it really simple. Like if you want to add boost control or nitrous control or drive-by-wire, they're like these little add-on modules you can just throw up in the software. It's very straightforward. I think I'll be able to figure it out, get that going, and hopefully our throttle pedal, when we open that thing up, we'll open the throttle all the way to the back of this Porsche and we'll be ready to rock. It's just, it's like the hourglass sand through time. Takes a while. Whoa! Sick.
Ready?
It works. Look at that.
Do it, do it, do it.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good.
Go like halfway. Go floored. Yeah, that's it.
That's good.
Sick. That's pretty sick. Yeah, it's more fun up there. I'm telling you, we got to get the guy in the passenger seat to hold the pedal. Yeah. This is the beauty of drive-by-wire. It could be wherever you want it.
I love how we're like.
Hey, look, get them together. You got it? Look at that.
It's like Bluetooth, pretty much. Do they make a wireless drive-by-wire pedal yet?
Feel like that's probably dangerous.
Wouldn't that be a drive-by-wireless pedal?
Drive-by wireless. This guy, he's got kids. That's a dad joke. That's pretty cool. That is it for this episode of Stay Tuned. This thing came a really, really long way. We tried to throw coolant in it. We found a pinhole in one of the original Porsche lines. We're gonna have to deal with that. This video is coming out tomorrow, so we're just out of time. But this thing has a clutch, a shifter, coolant lines that go everywhere. It's got a throttle pedal. It's got a brake pedal. It's got just about everything to get it down the road. And next time we're gonna get this thing down. And I'm telling you, it's gonna fly. I cannot wait. The only real question is this. Do we put the trunk back on it, or we just go proper submarine style? Find out next time. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.